welcome to the morning show. Take two with
Sarah
and Sean. That's right. And we're just going to get this out there. We're going to have a morning show uploaded every Monday morning. See, now we're stuck. We just have to do it. It's been one of those things where it's like brushing your teeth. You know it's good, but you just kind of put it off until a week goes by.
I guess that depends.
Now it's getting really rancid.
Yeah, I made him brush this morning.
You know, things are getting dislodged in there, and it's not so good anymore. You know, I call them snacks.
I think I just snorted out of my nose.
I think you did. Hey, and in other news, Sarah is fasting. Water only. Water only for 3 weeks.
I don't know why we always talk about my nutrition on here.
Because it's interesting.
And odd.
And, yeah. Sarah's like some kind of, I'm not going to say superhuman.
Nope, that would be incorrect.
The term I've come up with recently is glorious Valkyrie. That, if in your life you get a chance to pass within 10 feet of Sarah, that will be your brush with greatness. Right there.
Okay,
she doesn't know what to say.
Nope, no words for that.
Her world-class humility prevents her from accepting that.
Yes,
but that doesn't mean it won't keep coming. So, what's new? What's new?
We had 2 games going on over here. I'm going to talk about that.
That's
because
right.
that was so awesome yesterday. I was sitting at my desk over here, and we had both game boards going, and it was just like the vision of this studio.
That's right.
It was the first time I think we've ever had 2 games at once, and it was really cool.
It's the world room.
We weren't doing fantasy. We were doing 40K on both.
It's still going.
Yeah, one of them's still going. The other one's finished off. It was a
Turns
cool
out
moment.
lictors in the new edition have to deploy as a unit. Like if you get 3 of them for one elite's choice, they come down. And I was doing it the old rules where they just scatter, where they just are individual guys.
It's a learning process.
I've got really mixed feelings about. Yeah, well, that's the thing is you have 5 editions of, knowledge.
Yeah.
And you just get the wires crossed.
So those of you who are starting right now, this is the perfect time. You don't have to deal with any old rules. You just reading it for the first time is the best. That's what Cameron was saying yesterday.
It's like being a teenager. You have kind of a blank slate. Isn't that a wonderful thing?
Yeah, it is.
Would never want to go back.
No.
Some people kind of pine for that. Oh, if I were young again. Yeah, if you were young again with what you know now.
That's true.
But you can't really have it both ways. Well, you could if you listened to your parents. But
nobody does that.
Yeah, there's a special gland in the teenager's brain that prevents them from
as soon as they hear
listening to anything.
Shuts off.
Yep.
You don't have any teenagers yet, though.
I don't. You do, though.
I do. I've got 2.
You have 2. You have 2. That's right.
2 teenagers.
Yeah, that's.
They're awesome, though. They actually are really well behaved and they pay attention.
Oh, we went to our nephew's. He's in the school choir, and they did a Renaissance thing. Did I tell you about this? No. Okay, here it comes. So you go to this dinner. I didn't know what to expect. Usually it's a bore fest that I only put up with out of courtesy to my wife, right? It's like, okay, well, let's go. Now, I like going places, but half of the time, really, it's like, thank goodness my phone has internet. Who's with me?
Yeah, there's all kinds of cheering
Thank
going
you.
on.
Cries of were heard. So that's the nerd victory cry, by the way. I can laugh because I are one. I own all 7 seasons of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh, I have all 3 seasons of Roswell. Does that count?
I don't know. What do you fans say? Does Roswell
How about
count?
all the Star Treks?
Roswell was the more boring version of that. Well, we're here at the wall again. What do you think, Agent Klein? Sorry, I have Naomi Klein on the brain. Naomi Klein. She can talk politics to me any day.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet.
What? Okay, so anyway, so the Renaissance dinner, you get there, there's no tickets, and a guy dressed up as a wizard, this was the nephew. It's a Monty Python-esque thing. He auctions off 3 padded wheelbarrows where you can take your lady in on a wheelbarrow. So we get one of those, so I cart Tammy in on a wheelbarrow.
This sounds
Right?
great.
And I haven't even got to the good part. And the wizard's apprentice, Jack, carries him in. He's like, onward, Jack. And he jumps onto his back. And so it's like, it's the 17-year-old in this white beard. It's like 3 feet long. And it's shedding everywhere. Like you're trying to eat and it's just this white beard hair is floating around like seaweed. Okay, so you get in and there's no utensils. You get a cup. And they serve you water. And to get anything better, you have to bribe people. Oh, and they introduce like this full court. And the wizard, he reads out this huge list of like medieval table manners, like really oddball stuff, like, you know, you shall not eat things from your beard. You can't put your elbows on the table, or you can't lean on the table even. And
what things are okay?
oh,
to
you
do?
couldn't pinch the ladies' bottoms as they went by. And all of these things were behaving unseemly. So he reads this huge thing, and you're not really listening, right? And then at the end he says, and if any of these be violated, to the stocks. And they unveil these stockades, right? So if you violate one of the things, at least one time. Here's how I ended up there. The wizard comes up, and he says, I hath drunk a potion of strength. I challenge you to arm wrestling. I'm like, all right. So I put my elbow on the table, and off to the stocks I go. Off to the stocks. But they didn't count that I was brain damaged. So I started just singing really loudly and out of tune in the stocks until a table all pitched in.
What did you sing?
And bought. Okay, you're guessing something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, nobody knows the troubles I've seen.
Oh, that's
whatever
great.
that one is. So, and I only know the one line.
Which is why
So,
they
but
paid to
I'm
get
talking
you to shut up.
really loud, like maximum volume in this room.
We all know that Sean can talk really loud with Max.
Do you think so? Sorry.
Yeah.
And not let the other person talk. I call it the steamroller.
Okay.
It's when you talk over somebody every time they try and get a word in edgewise.
Is it really?
So anyway, so the ladies would go about, and they would pretend to be pinched on their bottoms. They would go,
Ooh.
oh, sir! And, yeah, and then off to the stocks you would go. And what was the other thing? Oh, yeah, so I'm like, so Queen Sweetbottom comes and sits down at our table, and I said, can you somehow get silverware for our whole table? You know, and I passed her a 5 spot, right? Which she promptly tucks in her bodice, and then she leaves, no silverware. Turns out the hags have the silverware. So you had to figure out who to bribe for all of your stuff that you wanted.
Did
to
you
get
ever
something
get to
besides water. Oh yeah, they served 8 courses. They were all simple, like it was medieval fare. It was like cluster of grapes and some cheese.
Cool.
It was chicken in like a tin, you know, like a thing, and planked potato. I mean, it was great, but it was so fun because you never technically had to involuntarily give up your money. Like you didn't pay for the thing, but it was fun. It was fun to do the thing. Oh, and at the end, they said, we've come across these coats and valuables, which we'd now like to auction off. They had been stealing from the guests the whole night. And they had gone to the coat rack and taken all the coats.
Great!
And so they auctioned off everybody's possessions, which of course, the first thing that came out, which was this hoodie, the poor girl who it belonged to was in a panic. Because she's like $1.25, and I just outbid her, right? And she was like, she just looked so forlorn. But of course, the play is that you give back the things, and it's all for charity and for fun. And so,
I've got to find out about this for my daughter's school.
You really should.
So cool.
I can tell you all, and I've only told you half. It was really neat.
That's very cool.
Now you say something interesting.